And we are live. Let's see, let's see. Are we live? Are we up and running? We should be. Guys, let me know. Can you hear me? Man like Mustafa says, Wagwan, so what are you saying? What a way to start the stream. I'm good, thank you, man. I'm good. How are you? Rabia says, yes, thank you, Rabia. We should also be live on TikTok, but I can't see it, eh? Okay. Is it just taking a bit of time to load up? Or are we bugging on the back end? Let's see. TikTok live monitor. Are we live? Maybe it's just not loading up on my phone. Ah, okay. I think we are live. Hey, beautiful. It's up and running. I thought we were going to have a disaster and I was going to have to restart it. Let's see. Okay, fantastic. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, we're live. We're live. We're live. Guys, it's not long, eh? It's not long now until paper one. We've got literature paper one out the way. A lot of people's most hated exam. We've got bio out the way today. Chat, talk to me. How was bio today? How was bio today? And then we've got, of course, the big maths on Thursday, maths paper one. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, live this evening, 8 till 9. Maybe we're going to extend it a bit. We're going to definitely be live tomorrow, 5 until 6:30. Should say on the screen, yeah. 7 until 8:30 for foundation, and then 9 till 10:30 again for higher. We're out here putting in the work. I'm going to give people just a few minutes to join. We're not going to be doing this full paper today. I've selected the questions that I think are most important for us to look at. Hey, nice to see a few more of us joining over on the YouTube. Come on, it's growing. I need to say that not too loud though, otherwise the TikTok gods are going to silence me. I can't say that either, otherwise the other platform are not going to look after me. I'm just gonna say stay silent, eh? Let's see, MF7. Come on. Uzo says Educast B Geography SMH. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys have joggers tomorrow, eh? Looking at the chat on the TT as well. A lot of people asking whether the live is saved on the platform with the red channel, and the answer is yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'm live on both at the moment. All of the lives that I do go on both of them, apart from the ones on the mygcsemaths.com website. But all of them are on both platforms, and they're uploaded straight to the channel. They're uploaded straight to the channel, the one with the red logo up there at the top. A couple of people asking what year paper this is. This is a November 2022 at Excel higher paper one. Let's see. Woof, we got people in the chat today. Chat's looking good. Chat's looking good. Love to see it. Things we love to see. One more minute and we're going to get cracking. We're going to do most of this paper this evening, but I have got rid of some of the questions just because I don't want to prioritize them. I only want to be going through the questions which I think are most likely. Let's see. Let's see. Rick and Morty says what year? This is November 2022, paper one. Paper one. Couple people asking whether this is higher or foundation. This is going to be a higher paper, and we're going to be starting in just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, we're going to get going at 8:05, just giving people a chance to join. If you can, come and watch over on the channel. That's where I'm going to be focusing on the chat, just because the chat on the TT just gets too busy, man, too busy. Okay. Let's see. Quick pre-warning, anybody spamming in the chat will get blocked very quickly. We've got a lot of moderators on this evening. Hey, good to have you on, Charlotte. So let's keep the chats cool, otherwise you will get removed. Greeka said, should I watch this on... I'm not even going to say it, but feel free. Watch this wherever you guys want. Okay, it is now 5 past, so we are going to get going. To anybody who's new, welcome to the community. Welcome to the team. The format is basically, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about each of the questions, and then I'm going to go through the answers. Normally, the longer the question, the more time I'm going to give you. Please think about how you would do it. Even if you don't have pen, even if you don't have paper, think about how you would do the question. That is how you're going to get the most out of this by far. Question number 1 says, write 500 as a product of powers of its prime factors, as a product of powers of its prime factors. How are we going to do this? Man like Dave's got an answer. Man like Mustafa. And guys, key thing with this, it says product of powers of its prime factors. Product of powers of its prime factors. What are we going to do? We are going to use our factor tree. So I'm going to start off by writing 500 up at the top. We're going to have 500 up at the top. And then we're going to split this into smaller and smaller factors until all that we are left with is prime numbers. Each time we get a prime number, we're going to circle it. I'm going to start off by writing this 500 as 250 times by 2, and I'm going to circle the 2 because it's a prime number. Next step, we're going to split the 250 down. This is going to be 125 times by 2. Circle the 2 again because it's a prime number. Next step, we're going to split the 125 down into 25 times by 5. Circle the 5 because it's a prime number. Now 25 can be written as 5 times by 5, and that is going to give us 2, 2, 5, 5, and 5. Next step, we need to write this as a product of its prime factors. So we're going to multiply all of these together. We're going to have 2 times by 2 times by 5 times by 5 times by 5. If you got that one, really nice. However, there is one final step. It does say write it as a product of powers of its prime factors. So we're going to simplify this. 2 times 2 can be written as 2 squared, and 5 times 5 times 5 can be written as 5 cubed, giving us our final answer of 2 squared times by 5 cubed. Oh, didn't mean to go straight through it like that. But yeah, 2 squared times by 5 cubed. If you got that one, wonderful, wonderful job. We're going to move on now to our next question. Question number 2. This one says work out 1 3/5 plus 2 1/4. Give your answer as a mixed number. Very, very likely to come up in paper 1. Very likely to come up in paper 1. One of the most likely topics, actually, I would say. One of the most likely topics. Maria and Charlotte, good to have you guys on. I'm trusting you guys this evening to keep the chat. Keep the chat in line over on the channel. I think it's going to get fairly busy tonight. Work out 1 3/5 plus 2 1/4. What are we going to do? Adding a mixed number to another mixed number, about 30 seconds. Then I'm going to go through it. Like I say, if you don't have this paper printed out, make sure you're still thinking about how you would do it. Some of you guys will even be able to do this one in your head. Work out 1 3/5 plus 2 1/4. Give your answer as a mixed number. Step number 1, to add mixed numbers together, we're going to rewrite these as improper fractions. How do we go from a mixed number to an improper fraction? We're going to do our number times by the number on the bottom, and then we're going to add the number on the top. So here we're going to do 1 times by 5, that's going to give us 5. Then we're going to add the 3, that's going to give us 8, so we have 8 over 5. Then we're adding this to 2 1/4. We're going to do 2 times by 4 is going to give us 8. 8 plus 1 on the top is going to give us 9, so we have 9 over 4. So we have 8 over 5 plus 9 over 4. Next step, how do we add fractions together? Well, we need to write them over a common denominator. So we're going to look for a number which 5 and 4 both go into. 5 and 4 both go into 20, so we can rewrite both of these as something over 20. Something over 20. How do we get from 5 to 20? We times it by 4, so we're going to do the same thing to the top. 8 times by 4 is going to give us 32, and on the bottom we're going to have 4 times by something gives us 20, 4 times by 5 gives us 20, so we're going to do 9 times by 5 on the top, we're going to get 45. Next step, simplifying. How do we add two fractions? Well, once we have a common denominator, we add those two numbers on the top. So 32 plus 45 is going to be 77, and that is going to be over 20. Final step, writing our answer as a mixed number. We can work out how many times 20 goes into 77. Our multiples of 20 are 20, 40, 60, 80. So we can see that it goes in 3 times fully. And what's our remainder? Well, 77 is 17 bigger than 60. So our remainder is going to be 17. And we're going to have 3 and 17/20 as our answer. If you got that one, wonderful, wonderful work. If you didn't, make sure to revise this topic. It is crucial, absolutely crucial for paper 1. Moving on to part B. show that 2 2/3 divided by 6 is equal to 4/9. Because this is a show that question, I'm just going to go through it straight away. A little bit more difficult to ask you guys to put your answers in the chat and stuff. Let's get cooking. So how are we going to show that this mixed number divided by 6 is equal to 4/9? What we're going to need to do is to start off by rewriting 2 2/3 and 6 as fractions, then do our copy swap flip, or KFC, some people like to call it. Let's get it done. Rewriting 2 2/3 as a improper fraction, we're going to do 2 times by 3 is going to be 6, plus the 2 on the top is going to be 8, so we're going to have 8/3. And then we're going to divide this by 6, keep flip change, or copy swap flip. So we're going to, let me first write it like this actually, divide by 6/1. We're going to write 6 as a fraction of 6/1. Next, to divide one fraction by another, what are we going to do? We're going to use copy swap flip. We're going to copy down our first fraction. We're going to have 8/3. We're going to swap our divide for a times, and then we're going to flip our last fraction, 6/1. What's it going to become? It's going to become 1/6. Next step, what can we do? Top times top, 8 times 1 is going to be 8, and bottom times bottom, 3 times 6 is going to give us 18. Next step, what can we do? We're going to simplify this. Can anybody see? What we're going to do, we're going to divide top and bottom both by 2. When we do so, what are we going to get? 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9, giving us 4/9 as our answer. So if we get a question like this, guys, we've been blessed, assuming that we get it right, because we're going to know, hey, look, we've got those marks in the bag. Okay, I'm going to move on now to our next question. Question number 3. Guys, put your answers in the chat for this one. Everybody put your answers in the chat for this one. Let's see what we get. By the way, I know I'm going pretty quick. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat now. Actually, people voting on the YouTube, let me know. Should I speed up? Should I slow down? Or should I keep the pace the same? I'm going to set up a quick poll. I'm going to say, ask a question. How's the pace? How's the pace? And then I'm going to say speed, or I'm going to say slow down, or keep the same. Okay, start poll. That's popping off over on the channel. I know I'm going quick. I know I'm going quick, guys. That's partially because there's so many people on this evening. Let's see. And everybody on the TikTok, if you can spam it in the chat for me, I'm going to look down at the chat now, and I'm going to go with the majority. What would you like me to do? Speed up, bit quicker, bit slower, keep it the same. We have 72% on the channel saying to keep it the same. Okay. Most people saying same pace. Some people saying slow down. Scum said came in with the paid one, said slightly slower. Okay, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm deliberately buying a bit of time for people to do this question. Okay, most people saying, oh, okay, that's so many. That's so many. We're gonna keep the pace roughly the same. We're gonna keep the pace roughly the same. Question number 3. Not solve. Simplify 2 to the negative 5 times by 2 to the 8, all raised to the power of 2. All raised to the power of 2. Give your answer as a power of 2. Anybody watching on the channel, please stop putting it in this chat. That's what the poll was there for. Give your answer as a power of 2. What are we going to do? Here, guys, we have a base to a power, 2 to a power times by the same base to another power. We have 2 to the negative 5 times by 2 to the power of 8. What do we do when we have a number to a power times by the same number to another power? We add the powers together. So here we're going to do negative 5 plus 8. That is going to give us positive 3. So we can write this as 2 to the power of 3. And that is going to be raised to the power of 2. And when we have a base to a power raised to another power, what do? We are going to multiply those powers together, giving us 2 to the 6 as our answer. If we got that one, wonderful job. We added the powers, and then we multiplied when we had the base to the power raised to another power. Okay, question number 4. Work out 0.004 times by 0.32. Another crucial topic, guys. Another crucial topic for tomorrow. Any mixed numbers, dividing decimals, multiplying decimals, really likely to come up in paper 1. Who do we have on here this evening? Any of the regulars? We've got Charlotte 26. We've got Yorkshire Dad. We've got Sahil. Awesome. We've got Ibrahim. Hey, guys. Good to have you on. Good to have you on. Nice to see about 500 of us over on the TikTok as well. Beautiful. Question number 4. Work out 0.004 times by 0.32, what are we going to do? Whenever it comes to multiplying two decimals together, the best way to do it is going to be to remove the decimals, to do the new multiplication, and then to put the decimals back in. So we're going to remove the decimals from this first one. We're going to write it as 4. And we're going to times that by, we're going to remove the decimals from 0.32. We're going to have 32. Next step, we're going to do our new multiplication. So we're going to do 4 times by 32. We can do that using the column method. 32 times by 4. 2 times by 4 is going to give us 8. We're going to write in a 0. 4 times by 3 is going to give us 12. Now we can add those two numbers together. We're going to get 128. 128. Now, how do we convert this into our actual number, right? Because we removed a bunch of decimal places. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to look at how many decimal places we removed, and we're going to need to put that many decimal places back in. How many did we remove? Well, we turned 0.004 into 4. So we removed 3 decimal places from that one. So we removed 3 from this one. What about 0.32? We removed 2 decimal places from that one. So in total, we removed 5 decimal places. So we're going to need to put 5 decimal places back into our answer. Now, the 1, the 2, and the 8, that's going to be 3 of our decimal places. So we're going to have 2 additional decimal places. So we're going to have 0.00128 there. Crucially, we have 5 decimal places in our answer. If you got that one, fantastic work. We're going to move on now to question number 5. This is a pretty good question. 2 marks up for grabs. I'm going to give you a little bit more time to have a read of it, think about how you would do it. Again, even if you don't have pen and paper, even if you're on the bus, even if you're on the tube, even if you're doing whatever you're doing, lying in bed, sitting on the sofa watching this, have a think about how you would do this. Have a think about how you would do this. Okay, another way of thinking about that previous one, by the way, was multiplying by 1,000 for one of them, and then multiplying by 100 for the other, and then dividing by 1,000 and dividing by 100. Either of those methods are going to be okay. Yeah, either of those are going to be okay. Okay. All right. Question number 5. Guys, by the way, if you're watching at the moment and you haven't yet subscribed, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you're on the channel, if you're on the TikTok, use that little button at the top to follow the account. I'm going to be going live loads over the next 5 weeks or the next 4 weeks until the end of GCSE maths, including tomorrow evening. I'm live 5 until 6:30, 7 until 8:30, and then 9 until 10:30. Loads of lives tomorrow evening. Let's see. Question number 5. Question number 5. Are we ready? Guys, put ready in the chat for me when you're ready. Everybody put ready in the chat for me when you're ready for this one. What are we going to do? How can we work it out? How can we work it out? Okay, George is ready. MC's ready. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. It says a car factory is going to make 4 different car models, A, B, C, and D. 80 people are asked which of the 4 models they would be most likely to buy. The table shows information about the results. We have the different car models, A, B, C, D, and we have the number of people, 23, 15, 30, and 12. The factory is going to make 40,000 cars next year. Work out how many models of car B they should make next year. How are we going to think about this? Couple of different ways. The best way to think about this is going to be to work out what fraction of our sample or what fraction of our initial group chose car B, and then to scale that up to having 40,000 on the bottom. Let's get it done. So for car B, we know that 15 people chose car B out of how many? Out of 80 people in total. So the fraction that chose car B is 15 over 80. Now we're going to scale this up to get it as something over 40,000. Now there's a couple of different ways to think about this. One way we could do it is just straight away times the top and bottom both by 500, but that's quite difficult to spot. The 80 times by 500 is 40,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it up to 80,000 first on the bottom, and then scale that back down to 40,000. So I'm going to times by 1,000 on the top and the bottom to get 80,000 on the bottom. So 80, 1, 2, 3. We're going to times the top by 1,000 as well. We're going to get 15,000 on the top. Next step, we want 40,000 on the bottom. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom both by 2 to get from 80,000 on the bottom to 40,000. 15,000 divided by 2 is going to be 7,500. So we know that 15 out of 80 is the same as 7,500 out of 40,000. So how many should they make next year? Well done if you got this one, 7,500. Absolutely superb work if you did get that one. Okay, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 6. Question number 6. This is another super important topic. Super important topic. Let's see what we can do. Combining ratios. This one has come up a lot in recent years. If you've just joined and you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Also consider following the TT, I'm going to call it, if you're watching on the vertical one. You can just use that button up at the top. I'm going to be live loads over the next 4 weeks doing revision sessions. Sometimes we go a little bit slower, sometimes we go a little bit quicker. Today we're keeping the pace nice and high. Question number 6. Rizwan writes down 3 numbers, A, B, and C. Find the ratio of A to B to C. So this is our combining ratios topic. Very, very important for higher and for foundation. How are we going to do it? Well, to combine 2 ratios, what we need to do is we need to firstly identify, or firstly, let's write them out. So we have A to B is 1 to 3, and then B to C is 6 to 5. And then to combine the ratios, what we need to do is we need to look for the letter which is in both of them. In this case, it's a B which is in both of them. It could be a letter, it could be a fruit, could be a color. In this case, it's a letter. So it has B in both of them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to scale our ratios up or down sometimes to get the same number next to that letter. So we need a number that 3 and 6 both go into. Well, 3 goes into 6, so we can write them both as having a 6 for our B. How do we get from 3 to 6? We times it by 2. So we're going to do the same thing to the 1. We're going to have a ratio of 2 to 6. Now we know that when B is 6, A is 2. And when B is 6, C is also 5. So we can write our ratio now combined, because we have the same number next to the B's. We can write it as 2 to 6 to 5. 2 to 6 to 5. If you got that one, absolutely brilliant job. 2 to 6 to 5, very likely to come up. If you weren't sure for that one, please revise combining ratios. It's very likely to come up. Anybody who's spamming in the chat will get muted pretty quickly, so please keep it cool in the chat. The moderators are on it. Only relevant stuff, good vibes, you know what it's like. Okay, part B. Or part I should say. Express A as a fraction of the total of the 3 numbers, A, B, and C. What are we going to do? Well, here we're going to need to work with our parts. We're going to look at how many parts we have representing A, how many parts we have in total in our ratio, and then do the number of parts for A out of the total number of parts. How many parts do we have in total? Well, we're going to add together 2, 6, and 5. 2 plus 6 plus 5. 2 plus 6 is 8 plus 5 is 13. So 13 parts in total. How many for A? It's 2. So we're going to have 2 over 13. 2 over 13. Okay, next part, part B. This part is tricky. This part is tricky. This is going to trip a lot of people up. I know most people are not going to attempt it, so I will go through it pretty quickly. Emma writes down 3 numbers, M, N, and P. Find the ratio of M to P. This is going to be another combining ratios question. Although this time, we're going to need to do a little bit more work first. We're going to need to work, or we're going to need to convert, I should say, our equations into ratios. We're going to need to convert our equations into ratios. And we can do that by saying, okay, when M is a certain number, let's say 1, what's the value of N? Well, when M is 1, N is equal to 2 times by M. So N is going to be equal to 2 times by 1, which is 2. So we know the ratio of M to N is going to be 1 to 2. Now, what about the ratio of P to N? So when this time at P is 5N, so let's say N is equal to 1. P is going to be 5 times that, so sub in N is 1. P is going to be 5. So we can say that the ratio of N to P is 1 to 5. Next step, again, we're going to combine those ratios. So we have an n in both of them. So we're going to multiply the 1 by 2 to get a 2 next to it. So we're going to have 2 to 10. Now that we have a common n, we can write that the ratio of m to n to p. So m to n to p is 1 to 2 to 10. Now the ratio of m to p, well, what do we know about the relationship between m to p? Well, when m is 1, p is 10, so it's just going to be the ratio m to p is 1 to 10. If that one made sense to you, absolutely fantastic work. Not an easy question there at all. Not an easy question there at all. Next up, question number 7, 2 marks up for grabs. Again, please give this question a go. I'm going to give about 30 seconds to think about how to do it. And then we are gonna go through it. Then we're gonna go through it. Question number 7. Let's see what we can do. A storage tank exerts a force of 10,000 newtons on the ground. The base of the tank in contact with the ground is 4 meters by 2 meters, and it's a rectangle. Work out the pressure on the ground due to the tank. Okay. Okay. Looking at the chat, let's everybody keep it cool. Thank you to the moderators doing a fantastic job. Okay. I'm going to set up another quick poll about the pace, and I'm going to go with the majority. Actually, I need to close the previous one. Last time, 75% said keep the pace the same. I'm going to start a quick poll. How's the pace? And we're going to have keep the same. And we're going to have speed up. And this time I'm going to add another option for slow down. In the meantime, while everybody's voting, I'm going to be going through this question number 7. I can see a lot of answers going in the chat. Let's have a look. Question number 7. A storage tank exerts a force of 10,000 newtons on the ground. The base of the tank in contact with the ground is a 4 by 2 meter rectangle. Work out the pressure on the ground due to the tank. How are we going to do this? Well, we've been given a formula. Pressure equals force divided by area. We have our force of 10,000 newtons, but we don't have an area at the moment, but we can work it out. How do we work out the area of a rectangle? We're going to do 4 times by 2. We're going to do the length times the width. So we're going to do the area is equal to 4 times by 2. 4 times by 2 is going to be 8. Now to work out the pressure, we can do our force of 10,000 divided by the area of 8. A couple of different ways to do this. We could use a bus stop method, or what we could do is we could consistently divide the top and bottom by numbers to simplify our fraction. That's what I'm going to do. So let's start off. These are both multiples of 2. So we're going to divide the top and bottom both by 2. We're going to get 5,000 over 4. I'm going to divide the top and bottom both by 2 again. I'm going to get 2,500 over 2. And now we can do 2,500 divided by 2. That is going to be 1,250. 1,250. Guys, if you got that one, absolutely fantastic job. We're going to keep the pace high and we're going to move on. We're going to skip this next question. We're going to skip this question and we're going to move on to question number 10. The reason we skip those questions is because they're slightly less important for paper 1, slightly less likely to come up in my opinion. We're going to move on to question number 10. Question number 10. Slicks, hello. Good to have you in the chat. A couple of people asking when we're going to be finishing the live. I'm going to be going until 9, maybe a little bit longer. Question number 10. Guys, give this one a go. See what you can do. Nice to see a few more people on this evening. We currently have 200 on the channel and 388 on the TikTok. Today might be the first ever day that we have more people on the live on the channel than on the TikTok. That would be crazy, actually. That would be crazy. 200 is pretty good, eh? Question number 10. Let's have a look. Lena spins a biased 5-sided spinner 40 times. Here are her results. Lena is now going to spin the spinner another 2 times, work out an estimate for the probability that she gets a spinner, though sorry, that she gets a 5 both times. A 5 both times. So on the first time and the second time, how are we going to do it? Well, in order to find the probability of a 5 on the first and on the second, we're going to need to multiply the probabilities together. But what probabilities? The probability of getting a 5. How do we find the probability of getting a 5? Well, we can do the number of times we got a 5 out of the total number of times that we spun the spinner. That's a relative frequency strategy, relative frequency method there. So what's the probability of getting a 5? The probability of getting a 5 is going to be equal to the number of times we got a 5, which was 10, out of the total number of times we spun the spinner, which was 40. We can simplify this. We can divide the top and bottom both by 10. We're going to get 1 over 4. So now we know that the probability of getting a 5 is 1 over 4. So the estimate for the probability of getting a 5 on 2 spins is going to be the probability of 5 times by the probability of getting a 5. So it's going to be 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. How do we multiply a fraction by a fraction? Well, we do the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. We're going to get 1 over 16. We're going to get 1 over 16. That is going to be our answer to part A. What about part B? Part B says Derek is going to spin the spinner a large number of times. Work out an estimate for the percentage of times that Derek can expect to get a 1. Well, what we're going to have to do is work out our relative frequency of getting a 1, and then we're going to convert this into a percentage, How are we going to do that? Well, the relative frequency of getting a 1, how many times do we spin it? We spin it 40 times. How many times do we get a 1? We get 6. So it's going to be 6 times out of 40. Now, how do we convert this into a percentage? We're going to want to write it as something out of 100. Now, the best way to do this, how do we get from 40 to 100? Well, we could times by 2.5. However, not everybody is going to know that 40 times 2.5 is 100. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this first. I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 2. I'm going to get 3 over 20. Now writing this over 100, it's going to be a little bit easier. How do we get from 20 to 100? We times it by 5. So we're going to do the same for the top. We're going to do the same for the top. 3 times by 5 is going to give us 15. Now that we have it as a fraction out of 100, we can simply take our number on the top. It's going to be 15. It's going to be 15. Okay, guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to the next question, although we're going to skip it. This one, actually, I will show you. I'll show you this one. Even though I'm not going to give any time for it, I'll show you this because it is quite an important one. So the question says, and let me just rub that out. The question says, describe fully the single transformation, and hopefully that's big enough. Let me zoom in a little bit. Describe fully. Oh, okay, that's not working. There we go. That's good. Describe fully the single transformation that maps P onto Q. So how do we get from P to Q? Well, if it's a transformation, it's either going to be a rotation, a reflection, an enlargement, or a translation. The only one of our transformations that can change the size of a shape is an enlargement. So the first part of this is going to be an enlargement. What do we need when we say an enlargement? Well, we need 2 more things. We need the scale factor and the center of enlargement. How do we work out the scale factor? Well, we can look at how many times bigger or smaller our shape has gotten. At the moment, how many boxes across is our shape at the top? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many is it now? It's 1, 2, 3. Now, crucially, we've gone from P to Q. So it's 1/3 of the size. Why? Because the 3 across the top now is 1/3 of the 9 across the top that it was. So the enlargement is going to be scale factor 1 over 3. Scale factor 1 over 3. Final part for our last mark, we're going to need to know the center of enlargement. Now, how do we work out the center of enlargement? The best method is going to be to draw a straight line from each of our new points to each of our original points and to see where they all intersect. So top left to top left, top right to top right, bottom left to bottom left, And we can already see what it's going to be, but bottom right to bottom right, we can see that it's going to be this point here, the 0.02. Personally, I think 2 marks is a little bit harsh for that one. I would go for 3 marks, but unfortunately, I don't write the exams. Okay, so enlargement scale factor 1/3, center 0.2. If you got that one, superb work, quite a hard question. Question 12, solve the simultaneous equations 5x plus 2y equals 11 and 4x plus 3y equals 6. 4 marks up for grabs. Okay, 4 marks up for grabs. Okay. Again, on that last pace poll, everybody was saying keep the same, so we will keep it the same. We will keep it the same. Guys, after this question, I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. I'm going to ask you for a huge favor, and that is going to be to please leave a Google review. Please, 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 if the live is helping you, please, it's really going to help me out if you can leave a Google review. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to keep doing free social media lives. I do also have paid lives on the website, mygcsemaths.com, but I really want to keep doing as many free lives as I possibly can. Man like Last Gamer said, oh yes, I will leave a review, big boy. Not quite sure what the context is there. However, guys, if you could, I would really appreciate it. So to leave a Google review, there's a link on my YouTube and my TikTok profile at the top it's my link in bio. So if you could do that, it would be absolutely amazing. It's going to take like 2 minutes. If you're watching on the channel, there's a link in the description of this video, which will take you straight there. And like I say, it would help me out, so that's one reason to do it, and I would really, really appreciate it. But B, if you want to do it for selfish reasons, guys, it's the only way that I'm going to be able to keep doing free lives is if I can get enough of these reviews. So yeah, that's kind of the selfish reason for you guys to do it. And no doubt when I do this, some people are probably, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it because it's going to give people the idea. So I'm not even going to say it, okay? But yeah, it would really, really help me out. Okay, let's go through question 12. Let's go through question 12. And then I'm going to give a little bit of time to leave that review. VO2 said, appreciate anyone leaving a review. Guys, it's seriously, and I'm not joking when I say getting these is the only way I can keep doing this because I don't get paid anything for it. So the only way I can do it is if I get these reviews. Okay, few answers going in the chat. Let's have a look. Question number 12. What's it gonna be? The question says, solve the simultaneous equations 5x plus 2y equals 11 and 4x plus 3y equals 6. How are we gonna do it? The best method for solving simultaneous equations is absolutely, for these linear ones, elimination. So we're gonna need to see what we can times both of our equations by to get the same number next to either our x or our y. You could do it with either. It's gonna give you the same answer. I'm gonna go for x. At the moment, we have a 5 and a 4 next to our x's. What do 5 and 4 both go into? They both go into 20. So I'm going to write them both as having 20 next to the x. How do we get from 5 to 20? We times it by 4. So I'm going to take this whole first equation and I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 4. 5x times 4 is going to be 20x. 2y times by 4 is going to be 8y. And 11 times by 4 is going to be 44. Next step, for this second equation, how do we get from 4x to 20x? We times it by 5. So I'm going to times the whole of the second equation by 5. We're going to get 4x times 5 is 20x plus 3y times 5 is 15y. And that is going to be equal to 6 times by 5, which is going to be 30. Next step, where can we go from there? Well, we're going to take one of our equations away from the other. Doesn't matter which one from which. Again, we're going to get the same answer. So taking the second equation away from the first equation, what are we going to get? 20x take 20x, they're going to cancel each other out. 8y subtract 15y is going to be minus 7y. That's going to be equal to 44 take 30 is going to be 14. Next step, to get the y on its own, we're going to divide both sides of the equation by -7. We're going to get y is equal to 14 divided by -7 is going to be -2. Now we have the value of y. We can substitute it back in to either one of our original equations to get the value of x. I'm going to choose this first equation. So we're going to have 5x plus 2 times by y. So 2 times -2, and that's going to be equal to 11. We're going to simplify this. 5x, and then 2 times by -2 is going to be -4. So we're going to have 5x minus 4 equals 11. Next step, we're going to rearrange this equation to get the x on its own. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 5x is going to be equal to 15. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 5. X is going to be equal to 3. X is going to be equal to 3. If you got that, superb job. Not an easy question there at all. Not an easy question there at all. But what I will say is this is very likely to come up in one of the papers at least. So if you're not sure on your simultaneous equations, it's a great thing to revise. Okay, next up, we're going to have question number 13. Another good question. Okay. Guys, this is where I'm going to ask you to take the moment to leave the Google review. Please take the moment. So if you're currently watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to find the link in the description of this video. Actually, let me know in the chat, guys. Is the link there? Charlotte, could you let me know is the link there? Like I say, it's the only way I'm going to be able to keep doing this for free. And the other thing I will say is, please don't assume that somebody else is going to do it. Please don't assume that somebody else is going to do it, because if everybody assumes that, then nobody ends up doing it. Thank you to Nothing. Thank you to Chevy. Thank you to Jess. Guys, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Targa. Thank you, Saul. Thank you, Jess. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look. Question number 13. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds or so. Okay, I can see that 3 people have left reviews. Maybe a few more coming in. Hopefully a few more. Maybe it will take a bit of time to update if a few reviews come through at the same time. Okay. Question number 13. An important question here. A tough one as well, I would say. Quite a few people asking where the link is. It's just in the description of the YouTube live, or you can find it in the in my TikTok bio. Thank you, Alverton. Awesome. Okay, question 13. Thank you, Angelina, for leaving the review. Okay. Thank you, Alvertu. Guys, really appreciate it. That's fantastic. Okay, question 13. Let's get it done. Okay. All right. Question number 13. P is inversely proportional to T. As soon as I see that in a question, I'm thinking of my inverse proportion formula, which in this case is going to be that P is equal to K over T. When Y is inversely proportional to X, we have Y equals K over X. So when we have P and T, we have P equals K over T. Next step, I'm going to use the values of P and T that I have together to work out the value of K. So I know that when P is equal to 1, T is equal to 100. So I can substitute those in. I can say that 1 is equal to K over 100. Next step, I can multiply both sides of the equation by 100. I'm going to get 100 equals K. Now I know that P is equal to 100 over T because I have my value of K. Next step, well, I can sub in T equals 25 to find P when T equals 25. So when T equals 25, I'm going to do this one in orange. We're going to have T is 25. So P is equal to 100 over 25. 100 divided by 25 is going to be 4. So we're going to have P equals 4. Next step, we're going to need to find T when P is equal to 5. So when P is equal to 5, we're going to have 5 equals 100 over T. Now we're going to need to find the value of T. So we're going to times both sides by T to get the T off the bottom. We're going to have 5T is equal to 100. And then we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 5 to get the T on its own. We're going to get T is equal to 20. So T is equal to 20. Final one, let's do it in purple. When T is equal to 2, we're going to have P is equal to 100 over 2 because T is equal to 2. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So we're going to have P is equal to 50. 5 seconds to screenshot that one if you got it. Absolutely amazing work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And next up, we're going to move on to question 14, but we're going to skip this one because it's not great to do on here. And it's also very specific, more likely to come up in paper 3. This question is a really good one, and it's quite tough. Really good one, and it's quite tough. I can see that that guy A is continually spamming the chat. So let's get him removed. Let's get him removed. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, beautiful. Mr. M says I was liking the live. Oh, guys, maybe we'll do a like run up. Actually, we've not done that in a long time. In a long time. Charlotte and VO2, you guys are holding it down tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mariam said left the best review. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Question number 15, a tricky one, a tricky one. Let's see what we can do. If you haven't already, by the way, as well, make sure you watch my video that I uploaded this evening on exact trig values. It's the best way to remember it by far. I go through this nice little hand method where you label your different fingers, and hey presto. Mohammed says, sir, what are we going to be doing at 9? At 9, I'm going to be going a little bit, I think I'm going to take tonight a little bit longer. I'm going to go for a little bit longer this evening. Okay, question 15, question 15. Let's have a look. This one says, the diagram shows a sector of a circle with a radius of 18. The length of the arc is 4 pi. The arc, that's going to be this length here. Oh, just a second. Let me write that on there. It's going to be 4 pi. So the arc is a part of the circumference of a circle. Then it says, work out the value of x. Work out the value of x. How are we going to work out the value of x? Normally a question like this is going to give us the angle and ask us to work out the arc length. But in this case, we're going to have to set up an equation for how we would work out the arc length and then rearrange and solve. How do we work out an arc length? Well, we know that we're going to do the angle that we have out of 360, because that's the fraction of the circle that we have, times by what the overall circumference would have been. So in this case, we're going to say that our angle, actually, let me write that a little bit clearly up here. So we're going to do the angle out of 360 times by the circumference. In this case, the angle is equal to x. So we're going to set up an equation. We're going to have x out of 360 times by 2 pi r. And we know that the radius is equal to 18. So I'm actually going to write this as 2 times by 18. Sorry, 2 times by pi times by 18. And that is going to be equal to our arc length, which is 4 pi. Our arc length, which is 4 pi. Now we can think of this as an equation which we can rearrange and solve for x. How are we going to do it? Step number 1, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So I'm going to cancel this one and this one, dividing both sides by pi. Next, I'm going to simplify this left-hand side. I'm going to do 2 times by 18. That's going to give us 36. So we're going to have 36 times by x over 360 is equal to 4. Is equal to 4. Next step, I'm going to rewrite this 36 times by x over 360. I can think of this as 36 over 1 times by x over 360, top times top, bottom times bottom. We're going to have 36x over 360 is equal to 4. Now, where can we take it from here? Well, I can actually simplify this fraction. I can divide the top and bottom both by 36. I'm going to end up with x over 10 is equal to 4. Dividing the top and bottom by 36 there. Next step, what can we do? We can times both sides by 10. We're going to get x is equal to 40. X is equal to 40. Okay, okay, okay. 5 seconds to screenshot what I've done so far. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to our next question. We're going to skip that one because I know most people are probably going to leave if we do that one. Next up, 17. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough. This one is super important. This one is super important. Very, very likely to come up in paper 1. This is a laws of indices question. So if you haven't been doing the previous questions, make sure you focus in on this one. It's really important. Really, really important. If you haven't already, guys, please leave that Google review. It's going to help me. It's really, really going to help me. And more importantly, to be honest, it's going to help you guys because that way I'm going to be able to keep doing these free lives on social media. I do also have a kind of a premium product for anybody who's new. If you go to mygcsemaths.com, I do 4 live lessons each week, very small groups, 5 to 10 students, and it's £20 a month. You can sign up there. But more importantly, right here, right now, guys, let's leave those Google reviews to keep the free ones running. Question 17. Question 17. Let's see what we can do. I think this might be the most people we've ever had on a YouTube live. Guys, this is so sick, man. This is so sick. Okay. Questions. Question 17. Hopefully I don't lose my voice. Okay. Work out the value of 8 over 27 to the power of 4 over 3. To the power of 4 over 3. And more importantly, to anybody who's watching, we're going to be live tomorrow, all the night pretty much. I'm going to be doing higher revision, 5 till 6:30, foundation, 7 till 8:30, higher, 9 till 10:30. Now, the other thing I'll say is if you are doing higher, that foundation session might be beneficial as well. Probably you don't want to be doing more revision than 2 whole past papers or 2 past papers, right? So that maybe consider the foundation one as a bit of a chill out kind of break between the earlier one and the later one. If I were you, that's what I would do. I would join the first higher one, do the paper properly, join the foundation one, take it as a bit of a break, and then join the higher one and take that one seriously again. You don't want to exhaust yourself. You probably don't want to do 3 past papers in a day. That is going to be the best way to go. Okay, question number 17. Let's get it done. This is a really, really important one, guys. What's it going to be? It says work out the value of 8 over 27 to the power of 4 over 3. The first thing to know for this, when we have a fraction to a power, we have to raise the top to the power and also the bottom to the power. So here we're going to have 8 to the power of 4 over 3 over 27 to the power of 4 over 3. So that's the first thing to know. The second thing that we're going to need to know for this is that when we have a fractional power, we do the root of the number on the bottom and raise it to the power of the number on the top. The root of the number on the bottom and raise it to the power of the number on the top. So on the top, we're going to have the cubed root of 8 raised to the power of 4. And on the bottom, we're going to have the cubed root of 27 raised to the power of 4. The cube root of 8 is going to be 2, so we have 2 to the 4 on the top, and on the bottom, the cube root of 27 is going to be 3, so we have 3 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4, that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is going to be 16, and on the bottom, 3 to the power of 4 is going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is going to be 81. Guys, really, really important question there. If that one didn't make sense, consider revising your fractional powers. Really, really likely to come up in paper 1. Okay, question 18 we're going to skip for now, but we might come back to it. Question 19, a 5-mark question, I think. Yep, 5-mark question. Guys, we're getting to the end of the session now. We're getting to the end of the session. I'm going to probably go a little bit later. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Question 19, grade 8/9, this one. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll go a fair bit longer, actually. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Question 19. Oh, we're at 297 viewers. Can we get past 300 for the first time ever on the channel? Guys, if you're new, welcome to the community. Great to have you on. Great to have you on. And we're actually almost getting more on the channel than on the TikTok. To anybody who's new, welcome to the community. I go live on different days of the week, normally announced at the start of the week, sometimes on my website, mygcsemaths.com, but normally on the channel and on the TikTok. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to be live 5 till 6:30, 7 till 8:30, and 9 until 10:30. All of those are going to be doing past paper questions, the most important ones to be getting done ahead of paper 1 on Thursday. So yeah, if you want to come back, come back. It'd be awesome to have you. At the end of the session, by the way, today, before I end it, I'm going to have a little bit of a more chilled out part. Normally the lives are more chilled than this. Today, just I think because there's so many people on and exams are so close, I'm going like crazy. I'm going like crazy. It's time to lock in. Alva2 said, guys, get him to 300 views. Guys, how cool would that be if we can get past 300 concurrent viewers on the channel? That would be so sick. The way to do it, guys, by the way, is by spamming the like. If you spam the like button, I think there's like you can like more than once. Basically, it should boost it in the algorithm. I think that's how it works. I don't know. Anyway, guys, question 19. Drop. That is the comment of the day. That is the comment of the day. Man on the TikTok said, golden helmet, hurry up. Golden helmet. That is one I've never heard. I've heard a lot, but golden helmet is not one. Okay, guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for me, and we're going to go through it. I wanted to give enough time for this because it is a 5-mark question, and the more kind of effort that you put in, the more time you have to do the actual questions, the more you're going to get out of this. The more you're going to get out of this. Mari is ready. Alva 2's ready. Bradul's ready. Nizar's ready. Okay, okay. Question number 19. Solve the equation 1 over x minus 1 over x plus 1 is equal to 4. Give your answer in the form a plus or minus b root 2, where a and b are fractions. First of all, when we see this question, how do we know the approach to take? Well, I see this question, I see solve. What does solve mean? It means work out the value of x. Work out the value of x. But then I see x is on the bottom of a fraction, and I think, well, I can't work out x if it's on the bottom of the fraction. So step number 1, let's rewrite this without x's on the bottom of the fraction. How are we going to do it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply these fractions and bring them together as one. What does that mean? It means we're going to rewrite these algebraic fractions over the same denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom of 1 over x by x plus 1. 1 times by x plus 1 on the top is going to give us x plus 1. And on the bottom, we're going to have x times by x plus 1. Next, to get the same denominator, we're going to multiply 1 over x plus 1 by the bottom of this fraction. So we're going to times it by x. We're going to have x times by x plus 1 on the bottom. And on the top, we're going to have 1 times by x, which is just x. This is going to be equal to 4. Next step. Now that we have the same thing on the denominator on the bottom, we can simply combine the numerators. We have x plus 1 minus x. The x's are going to cancel. We're going to be left with 1 over x times x plus 1. That's going to be equal to 4. Okay, next step, next step. What are we going to do? Well, now we want to get the x's off the bottom of the fraction, so I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by x times x plus 1. So we're going to get rid of it on the left-hand side. They're going to cancel on the left. We're going to have 1. That's going to be equal to 4 times x plus 1. Next step, what are we going to do? We're going to expand the brackets and simplify. We're going to have 1 equals 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 1 is plus 4x. Next step, now we spot that we have what type of equation? Well, we have an x squared here, so we actually have a quadratic. We're going to minus 1 from both sides because when we want to solve a quadratic, we always make it equal to 0. So we're going to have 4x squared plus 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now, we can see from the question, actually, that the answer is in the form a plus or minus b root 2. So that tells us pretty instantly that we're not going to be able to factorize this because it's going to give us nasty values of x. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve this using the quadratic formula. Now, some of you might be thinking, what, quadratic formula in paper 1? Yes, quadratic formula can come up in paper 1, and this is exactly the type of question it comes up in. So what's the quadratic formula? You guys get it on the formula sheet. It's a formula. The formula is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And it tells us the solutions to a quadratic, where a is the number next to the x squared. So here a is equal to 4. B is the number next to the x. So here b is equal to 4 as well. And c is the number on the end. So here c is negative 1. We're going to substitute our values in, and we're going to simplify. So we're going to have minus b, so minus 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4ac, so 4 times a was 4, times c is negative 1, and all of that is going to go over 2a, so 2 times 4. Next step, what are we going to do? We're going to simplify. Here, inside of our square root, what are we going to have? Well, we're going to have 4 squared. That's going to be 16. And then we have minus 4 times 4 times minus 1. 4 times 4 times 1 is 16. But we have minus minus, so it's going to be 16 plus 16, which is going to be 32. So we're going to have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 16 all over 2 times 4 is 8. Next step, let's simplify and see what we get. We're going to have minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 32 over 8. Now, we see that our answer has to be in this form. So we might be thinking, well, we have to be wrong because this isn't in the form root 2. But using our knowledge of simplifying surds, we can rewrite the square root of 32 as the square root of a square number times the square root of another number. And in fact, we can write it as the square root of 16 times by the square root of 2. And 16 is a square number. We want to use the biggest square number which goes into it. So we could have done root 4, root 8, but we want to use the biggest one, so we're going to go with root 16. Next step, we're going to simplify this. So we're going to have negative 4 plus or minus. The square root of 16 is 4, so we have 4 root 2. Negative 4 plus or minus, we're going to have 4 root 2 over 8. Next step, how are we going to simplify this? Well, we're going to break this down into our negative 4 over our 8. So negative 4 over 8 plus or minus our 4 root 2 over 8. So 4 root 2 over 8. Now we can simplify, divide top and bottom by 4. We're going to get negative 1 over 2 plus or minus root 2 over 2. Or it does ask it for b root 2, so we can actually write this. Instead of root 2 over 2, which is technically still correct, we can just write it as 1 over 2 root 2. Guys, if you got that one, fantastic, fantastic job. A very difficult question there, a very difficult question. Definitely grade 8. Some might say grade 9. It's definitely on the brink of the 2. Definitely on the brink of the 2. Let's move on to question number 20. I'm going to go a little bit later than 9, which was originally planned. We're going to do this one, and then we're going to do one more. Okay. One of the reasons is because I know a lot of you are going to be joining the lives tomorrow, and I want you fresh for tomorrow. I want you fresh for tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to be live 3 times. We're going to be live for a higher session, 5 until 6:30, foundation session, 7 until 8:30, and another higher session, 9 until 10:30. The format is going to be very similar to this. We're going to be doing past exam questions, which I think are quite likely to come up. It's going to be... Oh, the chat can't resist it. The chat can't resist it. Okay. Come on. Let's go, Omiz. Let's go. Question number 20. A tough one here. Let's see what we can do. A couple of people asking what time zone. That's UK time zone. UK time zone. I think, well, this is actually the biggest YouTube live that we've ever had this evening. So if you're new to the YouTube, guys, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to be going live from now until the end of exams pretty regularly. I have 4 lives a week on my website, mygcsemaths.com, which you can check out. The details are over there. There's a discount over there at the moment. But I'm also doing these free lives on social media. Quite a few people are asking about my grades because I know a lot of people are new. And also my age because I know I do look a bit like, well, I look quite young. So I'm 24 years old. I have a degree in economics. I went to the London School of Economics. My GCSE grades is 12 A stars, and A levels I got 3 A stars, and that included maths and further maths. So I know a few people are always wondering, you know, if I'm qualified in this kind of thing. So I've been tutoring for like 8 years now. Yeah, 8 years. And then, yeah, that's my GCSEs and A levels. And I've been doing these lives and stuff on social media for the past few years. Q20. Yes, VO2 said over 300 views. Guys, let's get some celebration emojis in the chat for me. Oh, guys, this is the biggest YouTube live we have ever had. This is sick, man. This is sick. Things we love to see. Things we love to see. I know a lot of you want me to just go through the question. I know a lot of you just want me to go through the question, but this is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. So I am giving enough time to go through it. Couple of people saying W. Alessandro says W. Avutu says congrats. Guys, this is sick. The community's growing. Awesome, awesome. Dashilia's partying, Gardener's partying, Sports Edits is partying. So cool to see, man. So cool to see. Loads of people dropping W in the chat. Is that a W sign? Wait. Yeah, that's a W sign, eh? A W sign. Guys, I'm gonna be with you for the rest of GCSEs. I'm going to be making a big announcement in a few days' time for the plan moving forwards. Nice to see that we have the biggest live we've ever had tonight. And actually, almost the YouTube live is almost bigger than the TikTok. Yeah, W's are coming in the chat. That's things we love to see, guys. Thank you for the support. For the support. Thank you for the support. Okay, Q20. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Alfie has 11 cards. Alfie has 11 cards. He has 3 blue ones, he has 7 green ones, and he has 1 white one. Alfie takes at random 2 cards. Work out the probability that he takes cards of different colors. So there's going to be 2 different ways to do this. What we could do is we could either do the probability of blue times the probability of green, probability of white times green, and basically do all of the different combinations for 2 different ones. But it's going to take ages. What is going to be easier is if we do 1 minus the probability of getting the same color on both. So 1 minus the probability of getting the same color on both. That's going to be the same as the probability of getting 2 different colors. So how can we do the probability of getting the same? Well, what are the ways to get the same? Either we can get a blue and a blue, or we can get a green and a green, or we can get a white and a white. Now, how are we going to work out these probabilities? Well, we have 11 cards. Probability of getting a blue on the first pick, we have 3 blue cards, 11 in total, so it's going to be 3 over 11. And then on the second pick, well, how many cards do I have left? After taking one, I have 10 cards left. And how many blues do I have left? Well, I've already taken one of the 3, so I have 2 blues left now. So this is conditional probability. Next up, we're going to do our top times our top. 3 times 2 is 6, and our bottom times our bottom. 11 times 10 is 110. We're now going to do the same for the green. What's the probability of choosing a green on the first one? It is going to be 7 over 11 because we have 11 cards in total, 7 green ones. What about the next one? Well, again, we've taken 1 card away, so we have 10 in total. How many greens do we have? We did have 7. We've taken 1 away. We have 6 now. Next, top times top, bottom times bottom, 42 over 110. Now, what about the probability of white and then white? Well, the first time round, we have 1 white out of 11, so 1 over 11 times. Next time, well, we had 1. We took that 1 already, so now it's going to be 0 out of 10. 1 times 0 is 0, so we have 0 over 110. Next step, to find the probability of getting the same, we're going to add all of these together. We're going to add all of these together. So we're going to do 6 over 110 plus 42 over 110 plus 0 over 110. 6 plus 42 is 48, so it's going to be 48 over 110. Now, this was the probability of getting the same. So now we need to do 1 minus this. So we're going to do 1 minus 48 over 110. 1 we can rewrite as 110 over 110 minus 48 over 110. This is going to be 62 over 110. Let me just double check that. 110 minus 48. Yes, it is going to be 62. Beautiful. Guys, if you got that one, absolutely fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic job. If you did get that one, a tricky question without a shadow of a doubt. It looks quite satisfying, actually. 5 seconds to screenshot this page. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question 21. Shall I go through this? Yeah, let's go through it. I'm just going to go through this one very quickly. It's not going to take any time at all. Question 21. This is a topic which most people really don't like. Most people won't revise this. Let's just go through it quickly then. So the diagram shows a sketch of parts of the curve with equation y equals cos x. So this is a trigonometric graphs question. it says P is a minimum point on the curve. We can see it down here. And we need the coordinates of P. Now, in order to do this, we need to know the properties of the cosine graph. The cosine graph, as well as the sine graph, go up to 1 and down to -1. So this is going to go up to 1 on the y-axis and down to -1. Now we're going to need to know the x-coordinate. Well, we're going to go from 0 to here, 90. And actually, I'll say this properly. We have a key point every 90 degrees. A key point every 90 degrees. It's going to be 180, 270, etc. So this is going to be 180 across, -1 down. So the coordinate is going to be 180, -1. 180, -1. Okay, I've already been live for quite a bit longer than I expected to go live for. Should we do one more question? Yeah, let's do one more question. Yeah, okay. How many marks? 4 marks. Okay, I've got time. I got time. Okay. Couple of people are saying, stop ignoring the chat. Guys, if you're watching on the TikTok, I'm focusing on the YouTube chat. I'm focusing on the YouTube chat. Oh, guys, actually, more people on the YouTube than on the TikTok. Maybe that's a reason for another dub in the chat. I can't disrespect the TikTok gods. So I'm gonna not do that too loudly, actually. But yeah, guys, this is sick, man. I like to see the YouTube family growing. Yeah, we got it in the chat. Planverse says dub. Lincoln says dub. Bradu says dub. Yep. Dub's coming in the chat. Dub's coming in the chat. Things we love to see. Come on, Bob. We got loads of new people on here today. Loads of new people on here today. That's sick. That's sick. Jake says up the TikTok. Yeah, no disrespect to the TikTok family, of course. The TikTok gang. I'm just excited to see more people on the channel, to be honest. Okay. Question number 22. Pretty tough one here. Pretty tough one here. I'm going to give you another minute or so, and then we're going to go through it. Another minute or so, and then we're going to go through it. This is an exact trig values question. An exact trig values question. Bradu says left a good review. Guys, I'm going to ask this again at the end. So there's 300 people watching on the YouTube. I just typed to clap a fly. There's 300 people watching, guys. I'm going to ask after this question if as many people as possible could use the link in the description to leave a review. And I'm going to waffle on a bit more about it. But all I can say is if everybody who's watching now does it, guys, it is really, really going to help me out. And that's kind of a nice reason for me. Nice reason you can do it for me, but selfishly as well. The reason it's gonna really benefit you is it's the only way I'm gonna be able to keep doing these free lives. And the more kind of reviews and stuff it gets, the more positive feedback, the more lives I'm gonna do. The more lives I'm gonna do. Okay. Question number 22. Question number 22. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Aha, Doopy Shoopy said there's 4 reviews from 4 accounts. Come on, come on. Things we love to see. Guys, please don't spam in the chat. There's no moderators on the TikTok tonight, but there will be for tomorrow. So there's lots of moderators always on the channel. There's going to be moderators tomorrow night on the TikTok and the channel, keeping everything cool. Okay, guys, drop ready for me when we're ready, and we're going to go through it. Drop ready when you're ready. I just want to see how many people are ready for this one. I know a lot of people probably aren't even doing the paper at this stage. Let's see what we can do, guys. Let's see what we can do. Renzo said get him 20k subs. That would be sick, man, if we can smash past that. Okay, quite a few people ready. Nothing's ready. Terry's ready. Rabia's ready. Flora's ready. Chloe's ready. Man like Smashford. What a name that is. What a name that is. Okay, let's have a look. Question 22. What can we do? The question says here is a triangle ABC. We're asked to work out the value of sine of ABC. Sine of ABC. Well, sine ABC, we can see ABC is going to be this angle here. So let's call this X for now. It says give your answer in the form m over n, where m and n are integers. The first thing we look at in this is what kind of angles we have, because we need to know whether we're going to be using the sine rule or the cosine rule. We're not going to be using SOHCAHTOA, and the reason is because it's not a right angle triangle. However, we don't know yet if it's sine or cosine, so let's figure it out. We always check if it's the sine rule first, hopefully it is, and then if it's not the sine rule, we check the cosine rule. Let's check the sine rule. How do we check the sine rule? Are we dealing with two pairs of opposites? Let's have a look. So the angle that we have and the side that we have a pair of opposites here. And then we have the side 6.5 and the angle that we want up here, x. So we're dealing with two pairs of opposites. So it's going to be the sine rule. It's going to be the sine rule. What's the sine rule? It's a over sine A equals b over sine B. Now we can write it like this. We can also flip it on its head and write it as sine A over A equals sine B over B. In this case, because we're essentially trying to work out the angle x, or an expression for it at least, we're going to do the one with our angles on the top. And remember, when we're using the sine rule, our angles are always our capital letters, our side lengths are our lowercase letters. So let's see what we have. And how are we going to do this? Yeah, I'm going to line it up exactly as they do. So I'm going to call this angle big A. Then the opposite side is going to be angle small a. We have angle big B here. Opposite angle is going to be angle small b. So what can we say? We can say that sine A over A equals sine B over B. I'm just going to flip this around. I'm going to do sine B over B equals sine A over A. So we're going to say sine X over 6.5 is going to be equal to, we're going to have our other one, we're going to have sine 30 over 10.7. Sine 30 over 10.7. Now, in order to do this, in order to calculate this, we're going to need to know our value of sine 30. We can hold our left hand out in front of our face, 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. We're doing 30, so we choose our second to bottom finger. We have one finger below, so it's going to be root 1 over 2, so it's just going to be 1 over 2. So we can say sine 30 is going to be equal to a half. So we can say that sine x, or sine ABC, is equal to sine 30, which is a half, so I'm going to write 0.5 over 10.7, and then I'm also now going to multiply both sides of my equation by 6.5. I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 6.5 times 6.5. So now we have 0.5 over 10.7 times by 6.5. If we can do this and we've cracked the question, eh? If we can do this and we've cracked the question, how are we going to do it? Well, 0.5 over 10.7 times 6.5. Let's start off by simplifying this fraction. Let's times the top and the bottom both by 2. Times 2, times 2. On the top, we're going to have 1. On the bottom, 10.7 times by 2 is going to be 21.4. And you could do that using the column method or any other method. Then we're going to times this by 6.5. We can write 6.5 as 6.5 over 1 and think of this as 1 over 21.4 times 6.5 over 1. This is going to give us 6.5 over 21.4. 6.5 over 21.4. The question does say, though, give your answer in the form m over n, where m and n are integers. So we're going to need to scale this up. We can times the top and bottom both by 10. To get rid of those decimals, 6.5 by 10 is going to be 65. 214 by 10 is going to be, 21.4 times 10 is going to be 214, giving us our answer down there. Just going to need to plug my laptop in. Beautiful. There we go. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. 356 of us on the YouTube live. Guys, that is awesome. That is awesome. Sonu29 says, can you have a multiple of that? I got 325 over 1070. Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't say it has to be in its simplest form, so you would get it there. You would get it there. Okay. Guys, should we do one more question? Should we do one more question or should we call it a day? One more question or should we call it a day? Nothing says reviewing with my mum's phone. Thank you so much. One more, or should we call it a day? One more, or call it a day? Oh, guys, okay, the people have spoken. Without a doubt, one more question. Okay, yep, absolutely. Tominatro, yep. Kedders, yep. Business inquiries, yep. Sophia, yep. Guys, don't worry, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. One more question. Let's do our final question of the day. Question 23. Question 23. Final question of the day. Let's have a look and see what we can do. It's a tough one. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. Core009 says a hard one. Yeah, this is absolutely a hard one. This is a seriously hard one, actually. Well, yeah, it's pretty hard, I'd say. Pretty hard. The question says, here are the first 5 terms of a geometric sequence. Work out the next term of the sequence. Work out the next term of the sequence. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Geometric sequence. Work out the next term of the sequence. Let's see what we can do. To anybody who's not doing this question and is just listening or engaging in the chat, guys, welcome to the community. If you're new here, we've never had 350 people on a YouTube live before, so welcome. I'm going to be live tomorrow evening doing higher 5 till 6:30, foundation 7 till 8:30, and higher 9 till 10:30. So feel free to come back. We're going to be doing past exam questions, very similar format today. I'm also going to be giving some mindset advice for tomorrow, some psychology, some exam best practices, kind of how to de-stress, how to perform your best, different kind of, things you can do. That will definitely be interesting to some people. Definitely be interesting to some people. Quite a few answers going in the chat. Here are the first 5 terms of a geometric sequence. Work out the next term of the sequence. Jess said, using my other 3 random emails to leave you that Google review. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Jess. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look. Owen said, are you doing lives tomorrow as well? Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Hopefully you can see on the screen. Tomorrow, 5 till 6:30, 7 till 8:30, and 9 till 10:30. Final question, guys. Let's get it done. The question says, here are the first 5 terms of a geometric sequence. Find the next term of the sequence. Find the next term of the sequence. What is a geometric sequence? A geometric sequence is a sequence where to get from one term to the next term, we times by the same thing each time. So what we need to do is we need to work out, what do I times by root 5 to get to 10? Now, there are a couple of different ways to do this. We could do 10 divided by root 5, and that's going to be the ratio between the terms. Now, this is a little bit difficult to think of as something we times by, so we can simplify this, or we can actually rewrite this by rationalizing the denominator. So we can times by root 5 over root 5. There we times the top and the bottom, both by the current bottom. We're going to get 10 root 5 over 5, and that is going to give us 10 divided by 5 is 2 root 5. We did the number divided by the number, and then left that third. So here we have 2 root 5. Now we know our common ratio. So to work out our next term, we're going to need to do 400 root 5 times 2 root 5. 400 root 5 times by our common ratio of 2 root 5. Now, how do we do 400 root 5 times by 2 root 5? How do we do 400 root 5 times by 2 root 5? We're going to do our number times by our number. It's going to be 800. And then we're going to do our root 5 times by our root 5. That's going to give us 5. Or we can think of that as root 25. So 800 times by 5. 800 times by 5. What's it going to be? Well, 8 times by 5 is going to be 40. And then we're going to add those 2 zeros on the end. We're going to have 4,000. So that is going to be our final question of the day. I've got to dash off, guys, so we're not going to have time for 23B. However, if you are here tomorrow night, we're going to be going through way more questions. We're going to be doing higher from 5 till 6:30, We're going to be doing foundation from 7 till 8:30, and then higher again from 9 until 10:30. Quite a few people asking me to re-explain maybe. Okay, I'm not going to have time to re-explain. However, okay, guys, I'm also not going to have time to do the next one, but I will explain how to do it. So, in order to do this next one, to go from the 4th to the 5th, we times by r. 5th to the 6th, we times by r again. So the common ratio is r squared between this one and this one. So we're going to do 5 root, actually, I'm just going to do this really quickly. So 5 root 2 over 8 divided by 5 root 2 over 4. Then you're going to have to square root it. That's going to give you the common ratio, and you move forward from there. But guys, honestly, I can't do the rest of that tonight. That was an explanation of how to do it, though, for any grade 9 students out there. Guys, thank you for a fantastic session this evening. And welcome to the community if you're new here. I know we have a lot of new people watching on the YouTube tonight, a lot of new people watching on the TikTok. For anybody who doesn't know, I do these social media live streams at least once a week, and I announce them on the week to come. Hey guys, look, we've just smashed past 20K subs on the YouTube. Guys, let's get a W in the chat. This is so cool to see. Very, very cool to see. Okay, loads of people chiming in. Just quickly replying to the people on the TikTok for now, just for a second. Guys, thank you for a fantastic session. Thank you, Hiloti. Thank you, NG. Thank you, Kilthan. Thank you to everybody. Superb work, superb work. And over on the YouTube, things are popping off. We've got people spamming dub in the chat like it's no tomorrow. So we've hit 2 PRs on the channel tonight. We've got the most live viewers ever, and we've just hit 20K subs. Guys, thank you so much. The final thing we do, to anybody who's new actually, at the end of each session, what we do is we throw a party. Now, what does this mean? It means that we spam the chat full of as many good vibe emojis as we can. I can see loads of people spamming W's in the chat, but guys, can we spam a bunch of emojis in the chat? Whatever your favorite emoji is, dancer emojis, disco emojis, party emojis, spam it in the chat. Let's see what we can come up with. Guys, it's very important throughout the process of exams to take a little bit of time to appreciate the work that you're putting in. It's stressful, it's difficult. Loads of exams back to back. Oh, wicked. Hey, Maria, good to have you on as well this evening. And good luck for tomorrow, eh? Good luck for tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. We have Mohammed partying, Mahesh Liana, nothing. Master B Flow, nothing. Aman, yes, sir. We have Timmy, we have Striker Monkey, we have Jesse, we have Links Football, Jess, we have Chicken Wing, we have Wilf, Hassan, Mohammed. Good to have you on. Good to see you, mate. And we have the lightning bolt emojis going in the chat as well. Guys, superb work in this evening session. Superb work in this evening session. Now, final thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to be live tomorrow evening, 5 until 6:30 for higher, 7 until 8:30 for foundation, 9 until 10:30 for higher. So very similar format to today. We're going to be doing way more exam questions, working at a good pace. Nice to see that the chat is still popping off. GTR said, can you go live tomorrow? Please, absolutely, my friend. We are going to be going live tomorrow. We're going to be going live tomorrow. Guys, the final thing that I'm going to ask, I really don't want to sound like a broken record, and I know a lot of you have done it already, so thank you if you have. But I'm going to ask if you could please, please, please leave a Google review. If you could leave a Google review, I cannot tell you how much it would help me out. And like I say, it's the only way that I'm going to be able to keep doing these lives for free. I also do some paid lives on my website. Basically, nobody signed up. So you can check that out if you want, mygcsemaths.com. I'm going to be announcing a bit more about that in a couple of weeks. But to keep the free lives running, please, please, please leave a Google review. It helps me out, so it's nice from that perspective. But also, it's going to keep me doing these free lives, which I mean, I want to keep doing them anyway. But the more reviews, the more lives I'm going to be doing. So yeah, okay. Looking at the chat. Oh yeah, and to leave the Google review, the way that you find the link is it's in the description of the YouTube live. So it's in the description of the YouTube live. You can find it there. Okay, I'm just going to open the TikTok feed back up. Oh, let's have luck. Okay, let's have a look. En Luton, adios. Okay. Snatchy Tank said, guys, spam middle finger. Let's not spam middle finger. Actually, and this is important as well. Part of this is about doing the maths. The other part of this is actually building a really positive and supportive community. There's two parts of that. There's two parts of that. Part number one is we have a bunch of moderators in the chat, or a few moderators in the chat, who get all of the rubbish out of the chat. The second thing is, answering each other's questions in the chat and that type of thing. And if people if people drop dodgy stuff in the chat, then we have a special process for that. We have a special process. We actually get a little round of applause to show that actually the community is stronger. Actually, thank you VO2 has just sent the link for the Google review, so I've now pinned it. If you're watching over on the TikTok, actually, it's the link in my profile. It's the link in my profile. So if you can go over there, guys, it would really help me out. Really help me out. And I can see actually that somebody has left a 1-star review. Somebody's left a 1-star review. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, well, I mean, that was going to happen. Somebody was going to spam that. Okay, somebody's left a 1-star review. I'm guessing a troll or something. So actually it gets more important now to leave 5-star reviews because it's going to overpower that one. Yeah, I think maybe somebody was just trolling or something. So yeah, guys, if you can do a little 5-star one if you haven't already to rebalance that 1 star, because that really drags it down. That would be awesome. But anyway, that doesn't matter too much. The main thing, so that's all of the waffle about reviews. If you can do it, I'd really appreciate it. But that's all the waffle. Now the more important message. So today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, believe it or not. Monday, we had English literature. We got the job done. Tuesday, today, we had biology. We got the job done. Good, bad, sideways, win, lose, or draw, we got the job done. Tomorrow, some people have geography. So if you have geography, best of luck for that. But all of us have maths on Thursday. All of us have maths on Thursday. So what would my advice be now? It's now 9:30. It's getting late. My advice would be relax the rest of the evening, put your feet up, chill out. If I were you, I would stay away from the socials, mainly because you're going to be spammed full of annoying revision stuff and it's going to make you feel like you should be revising. My advice would be to do whatever you do to chill out. If you can go for a walk, do that. If you would rather, watch Netflix or something, go do that. Or, video games or whatever you like to do to chill out, and go do that. Tomorrow, either you're at school or you're at home. Some of you are on study leave, some of you aren't. Either way, all evening tomorrow from 5 until 10:30, apart from 2 half-an-hour breaks, I'm going to be doing these live streams. I'm going to be live for higher 5 until 6:30, foundation 7 till 8:30, higher 9 till 10:30. If you're doing higher, I would recommend joining all 3 of the lives, mainly because you're going to want a bit of a break in between the first paper and the second paper, and that can be the foundation paper for you. That's going to be our final preparations, putting the finishing touches in, going through the most important questions using a past paper focus, using a past paper focus. Months have been building up to these maths exams. You could even say years. For most of you, it's the last time in your life you're ever going to have to do maths, see a maths teacher, do any of these boring equations or whatever it is. Some of you love maths, that's fair enough. Most of you hate maths, I know that for a fact. So it's going to probably be the last time ever when these GCSE maths exams are done. So let's put in some good quality final preparations and let's finish strong. Okay. Guys, I'm going to say goodbye for this evening. Very well done. Final step. Close your eyes, and I'm going to look very silly if I'm the only one who does this. When's the last time you gave yourself a pat on the back and appreciated the work that you're putting in? There's pressure from teachers, from parents, from yourself. Everyone's saying study more, study more. No one's appreciating the work that you're putting in. It's important to do that. So if I'm the only one who does this, I'm going to seem very stupid, but that's okay. Guys, if you can close your eyes for me, whether you're on wherever you are, whatever you're doing, close your eyes and give yourself a little pat on the back. And hopefully it makes you smile. Hopefully it makes you smile. And I can't tell you how important that is, seriously. Because most of the stuff around exams is negative. It's very important to appreciate the work that you are putting in. Okay. Goodbye, unknown. Goodbye, Najma. Goodbye, Lincoln. Goodbye, N. Luton. Goodbye, Ibra. Manlag Ibra says El Capitan. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we're here for, my friend. That's what we're here for. Thank you, Omar Code, for leaving the review. Adios, Alva2. Adios, the AA brothers. Adios, Lincoln New. Goodbye, Hassan. Thank you, my friend. Goodbye, Somi. Goodbye, Aisha. Goodbye, Octavia. Goodbye, Ivy Daniels. Goodbye, Nothing. Goodbye, Ravia. Goodbye, Wilf. Goodbye, Alfredo. Goodbye, Danny A. Guys, absolutely superb work this evening. I'm going to say adios, arrivederci, ciao, ciao, ciao. I will see you tomorrow evening for our final preparations ahead of our GCSE Maths Paper 1. Al presto.